So today was the first day of Denver Broncos rookie minicamp, and afterwards, head coach Sean Payton addressed the media. Amongst the many things that Payton talked about in his 30-minute presser, one of them was the Broncos' plans for joint practices as we enter the preseason this year. Payton announced that the Broncos are in talks to hold joint practices in Denver with the Los Angeles Rams ahead of their Week 3 preseason meeting at Mile High. You'll remember last year that the Broncos held joint practices with the Dallas Cowboys, and although the Broncos dominated the Cowboys in that practice, that really didn't bode too well in the regular season. So here's hoping that the results of this practice will actually translate onto the field this year for the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a good test for the Broncos. Although the Rams are not the juggernaut that they once were in 2021 when they won the Super Bowl, they're still a really good team. The Broncos secondary is certainly going to get tested with the combination of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, both of whom are returning from season-ending injuries last year. On top of that, the Broncos offensive line that was revamped this offseason will get their first big test as Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman in the game, will be going up against them one-on-one. That's going to be a really good measuring stick for where this Broncos offensive line is. If we can handle Aaron Donald well, then we'll be able to handle any of our opponents well, quite frankly. Although it has not been disclosed if these practices are going to be open to the public, I imagine that they probably are going to be. This is always a big event for the Denver Broncos, but I also remember a couple of years ago under the Vic Fangio era when we had joint practices against the San Francisco 49ers, those were closed to the public. So it's going to be interesting to see what approach Sean Payton wants to take as the Broncos are the host team of these joint practices. Regardless if they're open to the public or not, I do feel like the Denver Broncos are going to get some really good work in against the Rams, and those joint practices are almost always more valuable than the actual preseason games. Although the Broncos are going to actually play their starters in this year's preseason games, as opposed to last year when Nathaniel Hackett set pretty much all of our starters. That led to the Broncos really being out of sync as the season started, and here's hoping that with the Broncos actually playing their starters in the preseason this year, that won't happen. So I'm curious, Broncos country, how do you guys feel about us holding joint practices with the Los Angeles Rams? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.